I decided to take the weekend off from content creation and try to take a step back and reflect on everything that has been happening within the world of Battlefield. I did some more pre-launch video research, scoured over the internet, and watched any obscure trailers or vlogs that I could find, and then I realized that there was a really important video that has never been posted over on YouTube. Welcome back to another Battlefield 2042 video. My name is LtBuzzLitebeer, and today I wanted to cover this and a series of other topics as we are now T-minus 24 hours to go until the much anticipated EA investors call will begin. I wanted to again thank you for the overwhelming support you've been showing my channel, and if you could take a second to smash that big, beautiful subscribe button, it would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to ring the notifications bell to receive all my future upload alerts. Normally when I'm looking at a new release, I would go over to YouTube and just type in launch trailer and the officially licensed studio created video would pop up. But if you try that with Battlefield 2042, you get nothing. Now there are tons of other 2042 trailers, but nothing from the launch of this game, which I found shocking. This was supposed to be the FPS title to conquer and crush all other FPS games, and they don't have a launch trailer? What I did remember is that over on Steam, there was a launch trailer, and so I grabbed it, and that is some of the footage you see. What I found as I watched this unpublicized video is just another display of EA cherry-picking certain words and phrases strictly for their own benefit. And the very first hype splash you see in this video is from IGN, and it says, "impressively huge." Kind of short and vague, but I can see why they would use this phrase. Now for comparison, here is the actual paragraph from the IGN review. There are 3 game types in 2042, and your leveling is shared across the board. The main event, All Out Warfare, has within it the Breakthrough and Conquest modes, which both live up to that label with a whopping 64 players on each team. With that, many people gunning for each other on one battlefield, everything feels chaotic, even spread out across the impressively huge and detailed maps that have been made to better accommodate that player count. Now, IGN ended up giving Battlefield 2042 a 7 out of 10. Remember that rating. And this hype machine video just keeps playing and playing. You'll see splashes from Tech Radar, Games Radar, and Digital Trends, all spouting out the normal, homogenized gaming article phrases until you get to this one from PC Games, where the video uses this phrase, "one of my favorite games in the series," which sounds like a true and positive endorsement until you get the full context of what the article said. And here's what it says. "When everything works, Battlefield 2042 is easily one of my favorite games in this series, but it's rare to make it through a match without feeling like something has rattled loose from deep inside the game engine, and no amount of Portal-induced nostalgia can mask the feeling that this game feels rushed out the door." Very true. PC Games ended up giving 2042, again, a 7 out of 10. And then we get to this final scoreboard for Battlefield 2042, and the video paints an overwhelming picture that this game is going to be epic, total badassery incoming, 9 out of 10, 4.5 out of 5, except you don't see IGN at a 7 out of 10, or PC Games also at that same score of 7 out of 10. But the video so prominently uses their wording to its advantage. But their scores? Can't use those, so they're just omitted. Now just throwing in my 2 cents here, but I personally don't put any faith or confidence into any gaming publications, especially when it comes to early review scores. Just looking over IGN and their previous Battlefield reviews, and they gave Battlefield 4 an 8.5, which taken by itself is a pretty decent score. Until you put it side by side with the flat 8 they gave Hardline. Now I played Hardline, no offense to all my die-hard Hardline faithful out there, but Hardline is not just 0.5 of a lesser game than Battlefield 4. I'm thinking about it again. Absolutely not. Still, just another case of EA doing some super shady shit when it comes to manipulating the review articles, and just guessing here, but maybe that's why this official launch trailer was never posted over on YouTube, because there was some sort of disputes going on behind the scenes as to how certain sites were having their reviews twisted around. Moving along, and we just recently passed the 10-week mark since Battlefield 2042 launched, and as pointed out by Tom Henderson over on Twitter, industry standard for DLC after a game's release is 30 to 45 days. We're now at 10 weeks. That's 70 plus days after launch, without even a tease as to what the future holds for Battlefield 2042. He finishes with brutal expectations. And by the way, here is where we've got some truly epic breaking news, as over on Reddit, we finally received a leaked internal document from DICE showing up now on your screens. Just kidding, just kidding. I don't want to be responsible for someone who's maybe listening while driving to get into an accident while making a mad scramble to look at their phones. Seriously, pay attention to your driving. It's way more important than just listening to me. But this roadmap parody over on Reddit is now at over 6,600 upvotes, and I will include a link to it in the video description. And the text on this is actually pretty funny. Expansion 1 is called Flatlands, then the Void, and it ends with literally nothing. Some of the additions in each expansion are just silly. You've got Fortnite mode, Sand Conquest, Battle for a Scoreboard, and it ends with Among Us mode. Now, this parody really exposes a glaring issue in that we have not seen any specifics as to what 2042 will be receiving in terms of DLC. And I received a comment in one of my previous videos basically calling me out for being an uninformed dumbass, as there's already some sort of official roadmap that's been posted over on Reddit, but there is nothing official or definitive that has been made public by DICE. These are just outlines ripped from data mine dumps, which are extremely generic, like this one from Game Revolution. But these are not a true DICE-approved official roadmap. And if the data mine timelines are to have any validity to them, we should be expecting Season 1 sometime in March. Moving on, and to finish up today, I wanted to address another comment that I've seen, that 2042 launched with way more content than previous titles, which I'm still just shaking my head at, wondering if this is an EA shill posting that kind of comment, or maybe just someone that had way too much to drink. Now, I'm not going to do a side-by-side for every previous Battlefield title versus 2042, so let me just use Battlefield 3 as an example and let these two go head-to-head in a comparison. Now, 10 weeks after launch, 2042 has the same content it launched with. Some would argue a bit less, as Portal has been up and down, Rush was in and out, and Renewal is still on the fritz for PS4 and Xbox One owners. But when working, the base 2042 game came with 8 new maps and 6 Portal or Legacy maps, which I will not include for this comparison because those are reused assets from previous titles. So 8 maps. Battlefield 3 launched with 9 multiplayer maps, all functional at launch, I might add, and then we already, within that 10-week period, had received Back to Karkin, which added on another 4 maps. So 13 versus 8, sometimes 7, depending on platform. Advantage Battlefield 3. How about weaponry? Well, Battlefield 2042 launched with and still maintains 22 weapons spread across all the specializations. Battlefield 3, 48 weapons in the base game, and then added on an additional 10 weapons in Back to Karkin. So weapon final tally 10 weeks after launch, Battlefield 3, 58 weapons, 2042, 22 weapons. Okay, vehicles. Surely 2042 has more vehicles, especially with the whole call-in system, right? 2042 has a total of 14 vehicles spread over everything from ground to air. Battlefield 3, 22 at launch, with a further 4 added in with Back to Karkin, including the vaunted and fan favorite skid loader. So final vehicle score, 26 for Battlefield 3 to 14 for Battlefield 2042. And I don't even want to get into how Battlefield 3 had 23 different weapon attachments that all made a significant difference to weapon handling, hip fire, long range accuracy, etc. And again, I'm not attempting to dunk all over 2042, but instead, I wanted to provide the numerical proof of what this game gave us at launch, plus 10 weeks, versus a previous Battlefield title that came out in 2011. We as consumers are now getting far less for essentially the same exact cost we paid for a game over 10 years ago. Oh, and also I forgot to mention that Battlefield 3 had an epic and awesome single player campaign. Battlefield 2042, 0 single player, nixed to concentrate on multiplayer only. Now, I've never attended an EA investors call, but as far as I know, anyone from the public can listen in as long as they enter in a bit of their personal information like their actual name and email address, and work permitting, and if it is truly open to the public, I will do my best to be there and listening to any statements as to the future of Battlefield, DICE, etc. I fully expect Andrew Wilson to shell out some canned corporate response about how they were looking at all the options and are confident in their live service model, but it is truly my hope that somebody that has the ability to do so will ask those seriously tough questions about 2042. What happened? Who greenlit this seismic shift in what is considered to be a Battlefield franchise, and how do they plan to correct these wrongs and embrace the game and the fan base that made this franchise the best? What are your thoughts on the differences in content from previous Battlefield releases like Battlefield 3 now up to 2042? And where do you see this franchise headed? Leave me a comment and let me know where you stand on all this, and I'll do my best to respond. Remember to smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to receive all future upload notifications from my channel. If you could also take a second to rate and or share this video, it would be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to find and follow me on Twitch and Twitter, and you are welcome to join my community Discord server. Links to all of these platforms in the video description below. Thank you for all the support you've been showing me and my content. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.